Okay guys, in the last section we finished editing and creating comments. Now we're going to do the same thing for articles, or we're going to allow users to delete comments. I'm going to go ahead and add the edit or the delete button right here. Open up our show page for our posts. Oh, we're already here. We'll copy this link to, change this one to delete, and I'll go ahead and delete comment right here. And then we want to rake our routes. Oops, looks like we already have it. Post. We're looking for comments destroy. So we're gonna look at this. We're gonna need this one right here. Post underscore comment. Post underscore comment. Path. Next, we also need to specify the HTTP method. So we do method delete. And then we'll go to our comments controller and update our destroy action. So let's just make sure we understand what we get. And I'm going to show you something that's going to be very useful for your Rails development. You can enter a line called debugger to stop the process in action and then to test what's going on, what variables you have available, what methods you have available. So I'm going to refresh the page. I'll click delete. And if we look at our server logs, we can see that the Rails application stopped right here. So now what I'm going to do is look at the parameters. So we can see that we have parameters, but we're more interested in these ones right here. Post ID and ID. So if we look at params post ID, we have a string. To integer is params brackets colon post underscore ID to integer. And that corresponds to this post. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to use this to find my post. And we can find a comment by using another argument or another parameter that we've been given. This one right here, which corresponds to the comment. So I'm going to copy this as well. At comment equals comment.find. Paste that. And then we'll say if at comment.destroy redirect to at post. Because when the user deletes the comment, we want to redirect them somewhere. Else, we'll redirect to at post anyway. Typically, if an action fails, you'll want to flash to the user, but we're going to skip that for right now. So I'm going to save. I'm going to go back. Oops, I need to clear the, I need to continue. C for continue. Save this. Look at this one again, and let's delete the comment. Okay, excellent. So we see that the comment was deleted. We're going to delete this. Create the comment, and now we're going to delete it. Excellent. Okay, so let's go ahead and update our Readme. And we see that the user can create, edit, and delete comments. We're moving along well. User can navigate the application with a responsive navbar. Done. User can sign up, log in, and sign out of our application using the device gem. Okay, so we can just Google device gem, and we can see the GitHub page here. And here we'll find the instructions on how to add it to our project. Okay, so we need to just add gem to our gem file, or device to our gem file. Looks like I already added it, so you can just add it. We'll run bundle and stop your server if you haven't already. Now we need to run Rails generate device install. Okay, so this is some optional stuff, but we're not going to worry about mailers right now. We already have a root path, and we're going to go ahead and add these flash notifications. This will just advise the user if their sign-in was successful or not. I'm going to add it to application.html.erb because we want this to be available on every page. Because eventually we're going to use flash messages on all pages. I'll save it. And then this last one we're not going to worry about right now. And the next step is to generate a model. Here we are. We'll run Rails generate model user. Okay, and now we'll migrate our database. Let's actually look at the schema file first, the migration. You can see that Devise automatically creates a table of users in the database for us that has email, encrypted password, tokens, just a ton of things that's really helpful. So we'll do run Rails DB migrate. Okay, excellent. So it really makes sense to have posts and comments belong to users because who else would have made them? So I'm gonna test something. I'm gonna run the Rails console. I'm gonna show you right now that if we do post.user, it doesn't understand it. Or user.post, it doesn't understand it. And the reason why this is because our post model, our post database schema, there is no association with post. We can see that nowhere here on our post table is there a user ID, nor with comments is there a user ID. So what we need to do is generate migrations to update our database tables. And how are we going to do that? So Rails is really awesome. It gives us some cool tools. So what we're going to do is, first off, let's actually update our model. So we'll look at our post.rb and we'll say belongs to user. And the same thing with comment. Lastly, for user.rb, we'll say has many posts, has many comments. Okay, so we've declared our relationships. Now we need to upgrade our PostgreSQL database schema. So we'll do run generate migration, add user to comments, user ID, integer. Let's look at our migration again, our new migration file. And we can see that we're adding a comment or a column comments that is titled user ID with the data type integer. We're going to do the same thing except for our posts. Add user to posts, user ID, integer. So now let's go ahead and migrate our database. Oops. Yeah, that works. Rails DB migrate. And we'll check our Rails console again. So we'll look at user.first.comments. Oh, we don't have any users yet. Okay, so I got a little bit ahead of myself. So let's go ahead and clear some of these windows. Okay, so in our application.html.erb, let's go ahead and update the logical links for signing in and signing out. So first off, we don't want users that are not signed in to be able to create posts. So we're going to add some conditionals which will display links based on whether or not the user is signed in. So we're going to say user signed in. This comes from if user signed in. This comes from Devise. They have a whole bunch of useful methods. To verify if a user is signed in, use the following helper. Okay, so if user signed in, we'll give them the link to create a new post. Oh, we need this to be else. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and show them the sign-in page. We can actually show them a sign up and a login page. Login, sign up. I always forget these, so we'll look at our routes again. So you can see that Devise gave us a whole bunch of useful stuff, a whole bunch of useful endpoints. So we're looking at a new user registration path for a sign up. So sign up is right here, path. Okay, and then we're going to look at sign in, new user session. Okay, we'll do one more, except this one will be for destroying a session. Link to destroy user session path. And we need to do method delete. Okay, so let's restart our server. I forgot to end this. Okay, so we're not signed in. We don't have a current session, so we can sign up now. I'm gonna update it. First off, I'm gonna fail this just so you can see what device gives us. 2 errors. Password doesn't match and the password is too short. So now let's go ahead and do it right. Yes, and this is a flash message that we added to our application.html.erb. Now you see, oops, I did this twice. So we need to update this one. Sign out. And now you can see that we can sign out. So we're signed out now. And now we have to sign in order to create a new article. So I'm going to go ahead and sign in. And now you can see that the create a post form is available. Excellent. Okay, so let's update our Readme. So user can sign up, log in, and log out of our application using Devise. The navbar will be responsive as well as smart, showing logical options related to authentication. Only users that are logged in can create articles. Users can only edit and delete their own articles. Okay, so that one's pretty easy. So what we need to do is hide this edit and delete, these 2 edit and delete links if the post does not belong to the current user. So we'll look at our show page, our post show page, and we'll say if at post, oops, wrong area. If at post.user .id is equal to current user.id, then we'll show these 2 links. Actually should be doing a lot better job of this, but forgive me. Okay, so a moment ago when we made this, oops, we weren't signed in. So let's refresh the page. We should not see these buttons. Excellent, we didn't. And we should go ahead and actually do the same thing for the comment. We'll say okay, if comment.userid is the same as the current user.id, we'll show these 2 buttons. Okay, that looks good. Looks like I forgot an end statement somewhere. If, okay, right here. Okay, excellent. So I didn't create this comment right here. Let's test it. And it looks like we've introduced a new bug. We can't create comments. And the reason why this is in our comments controller, when we create a comment, we don't associate it with any individual user. So we'll update it at comment equal to, at comment.userid is equal to current user.id. And we're gonna have to do the same thing except for the post controller. So at post.userid is equal to current user.id. So let's refresh this and hopefully it should work. Okay, so now when we create a comment, there's an association with the user. Let's confirm the same thing works with posts. Okay, so now we have new posts that are associated with the user. Let's look at our README file. users can only edit and delete their own articles. I think that one's done. Correct, because I can see edit and delete. And this other post that I did not create, I do not see those links. Users can only edit and delete their own comments. And this one is true as well, because when we look over here on Learning Ruby on Rails, we can see edited this comment I did not create, so I cannot see edit and delete. But when I make a new comment, I can see edit and delete. Okay, so we just need to do one last thing and we're gonna be done. So on our show page, we also need to do one more conditional, which tests to see whether or not a current user is signed in. I'm going to show you what's going to happen. So I'm going to open up a new an incognito window and go to localhost 3000. And I'll click on this one right here, this article, and it's going to crash. And you're going to see undefined method ID for a nil class. So what's going on is there is no current user. So there's nothing to compare it to, so Rails complains. So we're going to say if user signed in, and then we'll close it. And now it should be okay because we don't have nil in our application. We need to do that one more time. We'll also do this within the comment. So I'll just copy this line right here, line 6. And now, whenever we go to a page that does have comments, it should not crash. Excellent. So the current user is not signed in, cannot see edit or delete for the post, cannot see edit or delete for comments that they did not create. I think that just about wraps up the tutorial. Pretty sure we covered it all. If you guys have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to contact CoderSchool. Thank you for following along, and we can't wait to see you in class.